Y'all, what the hell does Ethan always do? Go the hell rogue. I have not been so irked by a character in the Mission Impossible universe until Grace. I cannot stand that character. She got on my last nerve. I'm like, throw the whole girl away. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be reviewing with spoilers the new Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And I don't know, y'all, I really be living under a rock because I did not know this was a Part 1. I did not know it was a Part 1, Part 2 thing. I just had a terrible experience with Fast and the Furious giving us a Part 1, Part 2. I was sitting in the movie theater and like the title popped up. I turned to my mama like, wait a minute, this is 2 parts. Y'all, I had no idea. Like, I really haven't been watching any trailers or anything along those lines because I wanted to just go in kind of blind. I want to say I saw like a teaser trailer a while back that I went to the movies, couldn't even remember the trailer. But I was so annoyed this is a 2-part. But I will say, this is how you do a 2-part movie. It didn't leave you on like an annoying behind cliffhanger where we go through this journey for almost 3 hours, y'all. The movie is long. Where we go through this journey for almost 3 hours just to not, wrap anything up. I like the way we got a Part 1 and we actually tie up certain conflict, but the overarching conflict is not wrapped up. So of course will be wrapped up in Part 2, but much better way of doing a 1-part, 2-part type of thing. Now, something that I really love with this one, and guys, I have been a huge Mission Impossible fan ever since I saw the very first one when I was like 9 or 10. I was seeing it at the movies with my mama. I love this franchise. And I'm not one of those people. It's 3 actors that people are massively crazy about, and I just don't get the hype. And that would be George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and Tom Cruise. Like, people are crazy about them, and I just never got the hype. But what makes me love Tom Cruise is the Mission Impossible franchise. Oh, and Valkyrie as well. But Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise is the motherfreaking man. You hear me? Like, I love Tom Cruise basically because of the Ethan Hunt character and the Mission Impossible franchise. Take that out of his portfolio and, well, there's Valkyrie, that's my ish. But I just never been crazy about Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, baby, they do it. And the whole team with Tom Cruise that does this Mission Impossible franchise, arguably one of the best, most consistent franchises ever, bar none, across all genres. So something that I did enjoy with this one, because overall I enjoyed this movie. I feel like they know how to just not make a bad movie. Like, when Tom Cruise get together with his Mission Impossible team, this is one of those rare movies where you can go in with high expectations and not walk out disappointed. But a lot of stuff I loved about this, some stuff I didn't love, but overall my feelings are positive when it comes to this movie. Now, something I did enjoy is that we got some returning faces in a way that makes sense. Although I got some gripes with the returning faces. Now, one of the returning faces that we get is Elsa, played by Rebecca Ferguson, who had the greatest performance of her career, in my opinion, when she did Dr. Sleep. I love her. But I love the character of Elsa. I love our introduction to that character in, was it Ghost Protocol? I love our introduction to Elsa in the sequel that we was introduced to her in. I don't know if I got the name right. I don't know if it was Ghost Protocol. I can't recall. But love the character. All around, badass, great character. And I do enjoy that we get to see her again. And we have a really great shootout scene in this snowstorm with her and Ethan Hunt that I loved. But the downfall for me with the Elsa character part in this movie is, one, she really ain't got ish to do. That irked me so bad. We could have utilized her a lot better. I felt like we paid way too much focus and gave way too much screen time to the introduction of the new character, Grace, who got on my last motherfucking nerve. Y'all, I could not stand Grace. She was so irksome. She was a thief that Ethan ends up mixing up with. Y'all, that lady, we gonna get into her, but I just felt like Elsa barely had any lines outside of, she has the shootout I just mentioned in the desert, top tier, great sequence, and she has a standoff, a fight with our second tier main villain, because our main villain is this AI, but our second tier main villain, which is Gabriel, and that was a enjoyable fight sequence, but I don't feel like they did my girl right. First of all, I'm not just mad that they killed her character off. Because when I have like a fan favorite character, for me, I'm not necessarily just mad you killed them. I'm mad if you do not give them a proper badass send-off that matches with that character. And I felt like this was not that proper send-off for the Elsa character. And we're going to get more into it, but right now I'm just like going into the characters they bring back. Now, another character we brought back was the White Widow character that we met in a previous Mission Impossible film, her and her brother. And I enjoyed their parts in the movie. The White Widow is a character that I just enjoy overall, and I felt like they utilized the character fine enough in this. And I'll get more into it because we have this whole meetup with like all of our players when we get with the White Widow that I wasn't too fond of the scene, but we'll get into it. We also bring back maybe the person that I was kind of happiest to see, because we haven't seen him since the very first Mission Impossible, and that is Kittredge. And I still love that first Mission Impossible. I think it has aged well, and one of the standout scenes for me is the character of Kittredge. That's a standout. But Kittredge and Ethan Hunt, when they meet up in that restaurant, I love their whole back and forth throughout the movie, and I love that scene. So I thought that was a nice surprise to see a character that we have not seen for like 8 movies. So I love that, and I liked him in this, and I'm hoping he has more of a role or part in the part 2. But I feel like they didn't necessarily do enough with his character and really give me anything strong from his character like the first Mission Impossible. But it was just such a surprise to see a character we haven't seen for so long that I just enjoyed when he popped up on the screen. But I do hope they utilize him a lot better in part 2. So those are our returning players, and of course the returning team of Ethan, Benji, and Luther. Now I will say they do pretty well not having these characters become kind of stale. We have seen Luther since the very first Mission Impossible. Benji popped up, I want to say, in the third Mission Impossible. So I love that it doesn't feel like, oh God, like we just seeing these same characters and they're not really doing much. I love when we got the shift of Benji in the field. So I do wish that we utilize them in a new way here, like how we finally got to see Benji in the field, because it does feel like Luther pretty much just do his Luther thing, Benji does his Benji thing, which isn't stale, it's still enjoyable, but would be nice to see those characters progress after, seeing them for such a long time. Now, let's get into the movie, the narrative. So, the movie is basically about us having to stop this evil AI intelligence. And I don't even know if you can call AI evil, because they don't have morals and moral compass like humans do and have like a right or wrongs, but I'm nefarious super AI, and I absolutely love this adversary because throughout Mission Impossible and all the stuff we have to fight, whether it was this virus, whether it was all these different things that we fight up against, the nuclear launch codes in the previous Mission Impossible, I felt like it was very good progression to now have to face an AI and very relevant to the times. Just so perfect, and also the capabilities of the AI that creates these obstacles that we are facing throughout the movie. Now, the movie opens as like U-571. Honestly, I love this intro. We have this Russian submarine, and I feel like, y'all, was they like speaking English in Russia? I don't know what was happening. So we are told that there is this super AI, and they have these two keys that interlock and like fit together like puzzle pieces, right? And this super AI is housed on this submarine, right? With these Russian submarine, and we end up having it where they have some type of technology where you cannot locate this submarine. Like, we're invisible to other people and their sonar and stuff. Now, they end up popping up something on their sonar and showing that a missile was coming at them. So they get their missiles fired up and ready to launch, and they see the missile shoot coming at them. They brace them for impact. Nothing happens. Everything disappears from their sonar. They go to turn their missiles off, but they can't, and their missile launches. And I just knew, and I had said, I bet you their missile is going to take them out. And that is exactly what happened, because if I'm not mistaken, my educational background just from military movies, the missiles go after heat. You know, so since the other sub wasn't even actually there, their missile shoots out but comes back and detonates and blows them up. So the sub is not completely destroyed, but it's demolished, and we see the guys floating in the water. But what confused me, and I don't know if I'm just not smart enough, I felt like, okay, if the AI is housed on a sub, why would I shoot a missile at the sub? Of course, it's because two people that are in the sub have the key around their neck. So once they float up, this kicks off the events of the movie, because now those two keys are gone and we're trying to get them. So we have all these different, sectors of government like CIA, IMF, etc., that are trying to get these keys because they want to control the AI power. Ethan is tasked with getting these keys, but he don't want anybody to have the power. He wants to just destroy the AI. No one man should have this much power. So I didn't grasp an understanding of, because ultimately we find out, because as the movie was progressing, the question I was asking myself was, did a person kick this off and do all the sonar stuff, and then the AI got released? Because we're told that AI ended up, how they always have with AIs, they start just getting smarter and ends up going rogue. So I wasn't clear on, did a human attack this sub to get the keys, and then that is what released the AI and made it, get all nefarious? Or did the AI kick off this attack? The sub gets destroyed, the keys are out. Now, this is when we are introduced to Kittredge again, who gets in contact with Ethan Hunt. And the second I heard his voice, I was like, that's the guy from the first movie. So we end up having it where we have two keys and we need to get both, and the only way to authenticate if you have the right key is if you have the other key, because like I said, they fit together like a puzzle. So Kittredge ends up tasking Ethan with retrieving one half of the keys from Elsa, and there is a bounty on Elsa, which we end up finding out Kittredge is the one who put the bounty on her. Now, we got a scene that ain't make sense to me. because so we have, like I said, this meeting with all these heads of the IMF, the CIA, and we actually get a little more info in regards to the IMF within like our government system, because we've been introduced to this agency of the IMF since the first Mission Impossible, and I never really asked many questions about it. I just felt like it's just, a spy agency within the government, but they do give us more information surrounding this agency because there is like a mystery around the agency. We don't really know much about it, so they give us quite a few little pieces in this one, where for one, when the different agencies are talking, basically if they have a mission, they just send it on over to the IMF. And we also get information regarding the recruitment of the agents that work for the IMF, and this is when we throw in a storyline that I don't know if I'm completely sold on, but really it's not a negative and it's not a positive, because at this point it didn't hurt the film, but I don't know how I feel about it. When we throw in how we are recruited, this is when we get a backstory on Ethan that includes our second tier main villain of Gabriel. So basically the IMF, if you have skills that they can use to their advantage, they will give you a choice, right? So this guy Gabriel, and I thought they did good with the technology, making Gabriel look young in the flashbacks and then aged in current times. I thought that was really good. Like I was like, oh, that looked good. Like he looked young, and it didn't look fake or anything like that. So this guy Gabriel kills a woman that means something to Ethan, but Ethan is accused of the murder, arrested, and that's when the IMF presents him with a choice. So it just so happens that Gabriel, that the guy that killed the woman that Ethan cared for and kicked off his whole IMF career, now he's the villain working with the AI. And I gotta say, I was confused on that. And again, I don't know if I'm just not smart. But why Gabriel working with the AI? Like, why he care? Why he here? How the AI contact him? What was the pitch to get Gabriel to work for the AI? Because it comes off like Gabriel's whole demeanor and attitude and the stuff he say about the entity, and y'all, if you take a shot every time the damn movie say the entity, you have alcohol poisoning. That was one negative for me. I was so sick of all the entity, and all the conversations and monologues about the entity and the probabilities, and that was irksome. That tell me one time, explain it to me one time, baby. Maybe explain it to me twice, but you don't have to keep explaining that damn entity to me throughout the entire movie. But Gabriel was coming off as like, no disrespect, I don't know another way to put it, like a religious fanatic. Like it was coming off like he was in a cult and he was worshiping the AI. I just wasn't clear on his motivation because I don't know, it just wasn't making any sense to me. And you could say Gabriel was very effective in his role because I couldn't stand him, and I mean, he a villain, you ain't supposed to like him, but I didn't care for him as a villain overall because, and this could just be my personal bias, I'm one of those people, I love villains. They are typically my favorite characters in a movie, but I like villains with a little personality. Gabriel felt kind of dull. He was very one note the whole movie, very just cold, but not even in like a way that's entertaining to watch. I want to say he was borderline boring. I wasn't sold on him as a villain. And I want to say, honestly, he's a forgettable villain. Like, to tell you the truth, I really can't remember really nothing he says in the movie. I remember, like, him in the movie, but I can't really tell you I can't tell you nothing he said. I can't really tell you much of his conversations, but besides talking about the damn entity and the probabilities. But he's forgettable, and I really feel like in 4 months, I'm gonna be like, wait, who was the villain besides the AI? Like, I really feel like I'm not even gonna remember him. He did not really make a mark. Like, I feel like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Mission Impossible 3 as a villain made a motherfucking mark. Like, that movie ended, years passed, and you still remember him. And like that countdown he did, and y'all, no, not Gabriel. I'm sorry. It was lackluster, and it has nothing to do with the actor's performance. It's just the way the character is written and what he had to work with. I didn't care for him as a villain. And like I said, it's not a negative or positive when they throw in his backstory and try to tie in a personal connection between Ethan and Gabriel. I honestly don't really know how I feel about it at the moment, because I really feel like it didn't hurt the film, but I want to say it was unnecessary, because we add in a personal stake minus their history when it comes to Elsa and Grace. So I don't know why we needed to add in the personal stake of the history with them. I don't know. It just didn't feel necessary. Okay, so let's get back to Ethan first retrieving one part of the key from Elsa. So Kittredge and David Luckner from Seinfeld, or most notably the guy from Saw, are all together with other heads of agencies having this meeting. And y'all, this scene killed me. Because the thing that was like really just a red, like flashing light that was irking me was, we're having a meeting, right? And this is like a top secret, like you gotta be verified to get up in this room. So next thing we know, we see somebody coming in. They walk in the door. Nobody pay attention to the guy. Like, he just walk in the door, standing in the back, and everybody just keep talking, won't even really look his way. Now, I thought this was the AI. I was like, yo, is this because when at the beginning of the movie, when we are talking about dealing with this AI, I'm thinking we about to add Terminator up in Mission Impossible. I'm thinking we about to have damn AI robot people walking around. And the way the person was like looking, I just felt like it was an AI, but it was killing me, because I was like, bro, y'all need to verify who just walked in the room. But so that made the scene feel crazy. And then the person just started opening a briefcase and doing stuff. And I'm like, is y'all not paying attention? I thought this was the entity, because they are talking about the entity and we want to control it. So I'm like, yeah, that's probably him right there. But no, it wasn't. It was one of the mask moments, and it was Ethan. And come to find out, he impersonated, somebody that Kittredge knows. So that's why I didn't raise red flags. But like, as the scene was happening, I was tripping like, y'all don't notice this nigga just walked in here? So Ethan ends up handing Kittredge a gas mask. He puts on the mask and he knocks everyone out. And they end up having a conversation about the key. And this is when we get where, oh, sorry, y'all. This is after Ethan goes to retrieve the key, because Kittredge ends up telling David Luckner, like, I sent a man, I can't tell you who I sent. And this is also why I thought it was the AI, because the AI standing in the back hearing them say all this. So I'm like, oh shoot, don't say who you sent to get that half of the key. But Kittredge is pretty much telling David Luckner, like, I sent my man to go retrieve the key. I haven't heard from him. So now we have the conversation of Ethan pretty much is feeling like, I'm not handing y'all over this key. I'm retrieving it and I'm destroying the AI. Now, like I said, before this whole situation, we had a really great shootout in in a sandstorm with Ethan and Elsa. I'm talking about one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Great sequence. And the other sequence that I really love is the airport. So we have one half of the key. So we're trying to get another half. We go to follow somebody at the airport. And also we have these two guys that are hunting down Ethan, because remember, he's going rogue. Yo, what the hell does Ethan always do? Go the hell rogue. So So we send these two guys, Briggs and this attractive behind black guy, to track down Ethan. Now, what was confusing for me was when we are first introduced to these guys, we get a really great scene, and they did good adding like some humor into the movie where it didn't overpower or overshadow, but it was good humor in the movie that was actually comical, because a lot of times when it's humor in a movie, I never really find it amusing, but I thought they actually did well here. When we are first introduced to Briggs and that fine behind black guy, they're on a helicopter, and we get a really good speech from Briggs talking about Ethan and, you know, kind of warning everybody, and we got this whole team that's going after Ethan. But then for the rest of the movie, it's just Briggs and a cute black guy. And I'm like, what the hell happened to the rest of y'all team that was going after Ethan? Now, we end up at the airport, and Briggs and the cute black guy and a few other, because remember we had a team, we're all at the airport trying to find Ethan Hunt. Now simultaneously, we have Benji, you know, working on the computer, because the people that are tracking Ethan, of course, are trying to do facial recognition with their computer. So Ethan is in here with his real face, but what they do is they pop off these wrong alerts where regular folk, they are telling the computer that the people are looking at that is Ethan. So we're running around the airport. When we get to the person, it ain't Ethan. And this gives Ethan a chance to do what he needs to do, right? Now, he's tagged this person, he's following him, but then he notices Grace, who ends up pickpocketing the guy and getting the key. So now Ethan takes his attention from the guy he was following to Grace, and he asks Luther, like, to give him a rundown of who this is, because, you know, they do the facial recognition thingy, and it'll bring up the person, and she's a thief. She has, like, this whole track record, and there is also another group at the airport trying to get the key. It's the girl, we have Paris. When I tell you, this girl Paris barely said a damn word the whole damn movie, and she was one of my favorite people in the movie. She barely talked, and I liked her more than Grace. Like, I loved her character, and I'm really hoping we get to see her in part 2, because it leaves off where we thought she was dead, but the cute black guy working with Briggs is like, we got a heartbeat, so it looked like she's still alive. I'm hoping maybe Kittredge will, you know, give her the choice, and she'll end up working for the IMF and being part of the team. I just really liked her. She didn't even say nothing through the movie, child. But we're at the airport, and this whole scene was really intense. Such an amazing sequence. I mean, top tier. We had so much going on. We got Briggs and a cute black guy and their team trying to get Ethan. They end up getting hip to the game of all the fake alerts of Ethan. So they end up just spreading out throughout the airport. But then we also have Benji, who he gets a flag of a suspicious package, but then it goes away. But y'all, this is our first introduction to like the powers of the AI. The AI is hacking into everything, even to the point where Gabriel, who's working with the AI, when he walked through security, he is being erased in real time from the security footage. So the suspicious package, Benji ends up, we don't want to bother Ethan with it. Benji ends up going into the little baggage hold place, getting the package, and there is a bomb in there, like that's going to destroy and demolish everything. And we get a great scene with Benji trying to stop this bomb, and come to find out, and I knew it, I caught, because Benji says it was these riddles he had to do and these questions he had to answer. And basically it's one of those situations where the more questions you answer, the more the AI learns you. So once the AI, it's like with AI in real life and machines in real life, when the machine is able to predict what your moves and stuff will be once it learns you. So I felt like, I bet you this ain't even a real bomb. It's just a setup to learn Benji. And when Benji finally cracks it and it opens, there's no bomb. I was like, God dang it, I knew it. And this was an intense part too, because Benji doing the countdown. Because we couldn't get that last question answered, we had to finally tell Ethan, and he counting down like we got nothing to do but sit here and damn die. But he's able to get it at like the last second. But you know, it ain't no bomb. But the introduction of Grace. The introduction of Grace at this damn airport, y'all. I have not been irked by a character in the Mission Impossible. Okay, let me try that again. I couldn't talk. I have not been so irked by a character in the Mission Impossible universe until Grace. I cannot stand that character. She got on my last nerve. I'm like, throw the whole girl away. Y'all, okay. Now, when we were first introduced to her, she wasn't on my nerves. She picks the guy pocket. She gets the key. Ethan runs into her. He makes a deal with her for, you know, a certain amount of money from this electronic funds. We're supposed to be working together. Now, he tells her she can pickpocket, you know, take something, but you can also put something back. He wants her to go put the key back in the guy's pocket. When she goes up to the guy, he's dead. Okay? So, obviously, the key got the man killed. Like, the man you just took the key from, he dead. So, we got Gabriel in the airport as well. And Ethan thinks he sees Gabriel, but he kind of questioning himself. But the dang Grace girl keep running away from Ethan, which is fine at this point. So, she's able to pick Ethan's pocket, get the key back from him, because he's simultaneously trying to run from Briggs and a cute black guy. So Grace gets away. She gets on a flight, and y'all, we end up where Ethan alerts the authorities where she's landing at, and she gets arrested with all these fake passports, and she got all kind of stuff surrounding her and her fake identities of being wanted in different places. Ethan shows up pretending to be her lawyer, and we get out of here because Briggs and the cute black guy is here as well looking for Ethan. And we get a really good sequence where this is when Paris shows up as well, trying to kill them and get the key. And Ethan and Grace get into like this car chase. So good. And it was actually had some like funny moments in the chase scene because they're like handcuffed together, and when the car flips over they end up on like mixed up sides. It was really good. And then when Grace has to drive and Paris is trying to start up that truck again, and they're like turning around, he's like, no, right, and they keep circling. It was really good. But I will say it felt like too long of a sequence. And I feel like one marker of a good movie, even if it's really long, is not feeling the runtime. And I feel like there were moments in the movie where I felt the runtime because I just felt like, this sequence is a little unnecessarily long. And this was one of them. I felt like this chase sequence, very enjoyable, very well done, but it did feel too long in my personal opinion. Now, Grace ends up, we crash into this tunnel like a subway, and she's able to, because she had got a paperclip, she gets herself out of the handcuffs and handcuffs Ethan to the steering wheel and runs up out of here. I was so sick of this girl running from Ethan, y'all. I was about to die. And she basically leaves him down here to die because the train is on the way. And I know you ain't run that damn fast where you couldn't hear that train coming when you left Ethan in the car. But Ethan is able to get out. But he runs into Grace again. And the bitch still running. It was on my last nerve. So we go have the meeting that I was telling you guys about, where it's the White Widow, her brother, and her people, Gabriel. Come to find out, Grace was working for the White Widow because Ethan was trying to figure out who hired her to get the key. It was the White Widow. So we have this meeting at this party club thing in Venice, I think it was. And y'all, yeah, the scene itself is fine, but this was another, like, I'm tired of y'all talking about the entity and the probabilities and all this stuff like that. And this is what annoyed me. Grace been doing nothing but running from Ethan. The whole damn movie. And it was completely understandable at the airport. You don't know this nigga. Now we get to this scene at where we have this little gathering of everybody, Gabriel included. Gabriel literally says, oh, Elsa is here too. Gabriel literally says, either Elsa or Grace is going to die. And Ethan is like, if anything happened to them, there's no place on earth I won't find you and kill you. Y'all, fight ensues. Ethan tells Grace not to move. He tells Elsa to run and don't stop. Y'all, please tell me why Grace runs. Ethan trying to chase after her. And we end up having Grace run into Gabriel, right? And they have a little fight. And then Elsa pops up. And Elsa and Gabriel have a fight. And my girl Elsa dies. And I don't care. It ain't no way that Gabriel should have been able to beat Elsa. But even if he could, she ain't hurt him no shit where form. Baby, Elsa is badass. Elsa is very highly skilled. You mean to tell me she couldn't even hurt him? Y'all, this irked me. And it also made me not like Grace. And this did not make any sense to me. Oh yeah, while we having a fight with Elsa and Gabriel and Grace and Gabriel, we also have a fight with Paris, Ethan, and an unnamed goon in this like tight alleyway. So good. I love this. We have this fight going down in this tight behind alleyway. It was such a good fight. And at the end, Ethan does win and he can kill Paris, but he doesn't. Now, let's jump back to Elsa is killed. Ethan runs over. All of a sudden, Grace with us. That didn't make no sense. I don't care. That did not make any sense. You ain't been doing nothing but running from Ethan. Why are you over here with us now? And I don't want to hear the whole because Elsa dead. Because she was like remorseful. But bitch, you already knew one of y'all was going to die. Gabriel literally said one of y'all was going to die tonight. And don't tell me you ain't know this was a life or death situation when the dude at the airport who you swiped the key from was dead. This just irked me so bad. And it was so nonsensical. And I could not stand Grace the whole movie. She got on everything she did, everything she said just irked my nerves. And then trying to add her to the team irked my nerve. We don't need you on the team. Why would I trust you? All you do is run and you a thief. You can't trust no motherfucking thief. But it just did not make any sense whatsoever for me. That all she did the whole damn movie was run away from Ethan. And then all of a sudden when Elsa dead, now she with us. And Ethan gonna tell her about Kittredge and her being able to have a choice. And why would we give her? I don't know, y'all. Was it just me? That got on my nerve. It didn't make any sense at all to me. So we end up making a whole scheme where now we got to have this train sequence right. And we're going to have a meeting for this key. So we're going to have Grace put on a mask to be the White Widow. And Ethan is supposed to wear a mask to be her brother. But the machine breaks. So Ethan can't get on the train regular and be the brother. He got to go do a Tom Cruise death-defying stunt to get on the train. And Grace is talking about, try to have assurances that he gonna be on the train. He's like, trust me, I won't let nothing happen to you. Man, I just couldn't. I could not stand this girl. I could not stand this girl. So we end up getting the train sequence, which was so good. I love the entirety of this train sequence, but what didn't make no sense to me? Gabriel is on the train, but he's smuggled onto the train, and Paris lets him out of this coffin container thingy, and he has this oxygen mask on. If the AI erases him in real time from security footage so he can't be tracked, why he couldn't just walk up on the damn a train normal? Why did he have to be smuggled on the train if the AI is covering his tracks? That didn't make no sense to me. But anyway, so we got Paris and Gabriel on the train, and Gabriel rigs the train. He killed these dang old people that working on the train. It was kind of sad. I'm like, why you gotta kill the old people? You could just tie them up. But he kills the conductor and the people that's up there working on the train, these two guys, and he rigs the train where the train can't stop. It's like a speeding runaway train. And I couldn't for the life of me understand why the passengers ain't realize the damn train started going faster. Like, y'all don't feel something weird going on? That was trippy to me. But anyway, the train is rigged. It can't stop. It's just a runaway train. And we also have Kittredge on the plane, on the train. Kittredge is the person meeting with the White Widow to get the key. And this didn't make no sense to me. The White Widow goes into her room. Her brother's outside the room. This is when Grace is in the room, knocks her out. But I'm like, the brother couldn't tell that his sister eye color changed, because Grace got brown eyes and the White Widow, his sister, has blue eyes. And even I noticed, and I'm not even that good at attention to detail when it comes to like stuff like that. Like eye color and hair is things that I typically don't really have an attention to detail. So if I noticed the eye color was different, baby, why her brother ain't noticed? You looking your sister dead in the eye. So we end up having a meeting with Kittredge. We give him the key, and he transfers, all this money over, which I was like, I bet Grace putting in her own damn banking information. But she ends up stopping it. When it's doing like a transfer, she stops it. The brother like, what are you doing? And so Grace ends up able to walk off, but she pickpockets Kittredge to get the key back. And just as she's walking away, the real White Widow comes out, and that's when her brother and his goon go after Grace, and they take the key from her. They clear the car, and they are literally just about to shoot her when Tom Cruise comes busting in through the window, knocking the guy out and saving Grace. And the thing that's funny to me, and I literally just said this when I was reviewing the new Fast and the Furious, the way people gripe about all the death-defying like superhero stunts that the Tyrese and Vin Diesel and them be doing in Fast and Furious, I literally said, why y'all don't get mad at Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible? Because he do the same ish. I mean, like, it's better. It's a higher caliber, but the character of Ethan is doing death-defying stunts just like Dom Toretto and his team. So Ethan trying to get on the train. The train is supposed to slow down at a curve so he can jump on. Of course, it's a speeding runaway train. That don't happen. So Ethan is riding this motorcycle. He literally dives off the cliff on the damn motorcycle, child. It was crazy. And he has this parachute thingy, and he just so happened to crash through the car, not killing nobody, because folks should have been sitting there. He crashes through the car at the exact moment and the exact spot to knock the goon out that's about to kill Grace. Now, if Dom Toretto did that ish, saving Letty, y'all would be up in arms. I just find that so funny. Like, people are constantly griping and complaining about the death-defying stunts that they be doing in Fast and Furious, but baby, Tom Cruise be doing that ish too. But again, at a much higher caliber. So we end up having this sequence on the train where okay, y'all, this got on my nerve. When Tom Cruise crashes in, the key is on the floor. Please tell me why let me not call the actor name. Please tell me why Ethan and Grace staring in each other's eyes for, I swear to God, like 75 seconds. We got time for this. What are we doing? And I guess they was trying to play it where, like, Ethan liked her, was attracted to her or something. I don't know why, because the girl is annoying as hell. But they staring into each other's eyes for like 75 seconds. And Gabriel is able to come over and pick the key up. And I'm like, you freaking idiots. Now, we end up having where Y'all, let me stop saying Tom Cruise. I don't know why I keep saying Tom Cruise. We have this sequence where Ethan and Grace he tells Grace to stop the train. Baby, Ethan getting there, Grace just standing around. She's like, oh, I can't stop the train, brakes gone. And I'm saying, like, girl, was you just gonna stand in here and die? Like, why was you just in here just standing around? So, we can't stop the train. But you know how the AI be having all the probabilities and stuff like that? I guess the probability of them stopping the train, they could have stopped it. So then we got the damn bridge rigged to blow up. Now, we got Ethan and Grace trying to stop the train. Now, we don't know about the explosion. So we how you unhook the car? So we unhooked that first car, which causes like an emergency brake or something. So the train starts slowing down. Now, remember Gabriel and Paris is on the train. Now, we got David Luckner in there making a deal to work with Gabriel them. And I knew it was so obvious they was going to kill him. I'm like, you idiot. Because he pretty much telling them like, basically throughout the movie, we trying to get these keys, but we don't even know what the keys are for. We don't know where the AI at. Like, we don't have none of that information. David Luckner say he the only person that has the information. He was the one that, sunk that submarine. And remember I was saying how as the movie was progressing, I didn't know if we had a human that kicked this off and attacked that sub or if it was the AI. So this is when they revealed it was David Luckner. Gabriel kills him. Like, oh, so you the only person in the world that know this? Shit, you out. But then he ends up killing Paris because the AI, remember, it learns you and knows stuff. It knew that she would betray them to Ethan Hunt because he spared her life. So I was mad. I thought she was dead. So, but put a pin in that. We think she dead. And Ethan, remember, we unhooked the train and hit this brake. But then the bridge explodes. And baby, the train started going down the cliff. Now, Ethan got into a fight with Gabriel. We were on top of the train fighting. And this is when Briggs and the cute black guy pop up on top of the train. And I'm sitting here like, baby, I heard government jobs don't pay well. So why the hell is y'all on top of a speeding damn train? That ain't make no sense to me. Like, goddamn, y'all must really want to arrest Ethan. And Briggs was acting like he wanted Ethan bad. And I just wasn't getting the emotion. Like, why are you so piped up to arrest Ethan? But this also didn't make any sense. Because Ethan is like, no, get him. Speaking of Gabriel, now if I'm a cop or something, detective, FBI, whatever, and I'm after a fugitive, and I find that fugitive fighting with somebody or just with somebody, don't I take both of y'all into custody and then we figure that ish out back at the station? Like, it made no sense to me that they just didn't give a crap about Gabriel. So Gabriel is able to jump off onto a truck that's waiting for him. And Ethan ends up saving Briggs' life because his back is like towards this little thing that's about to like chop him in half. And Ethan gets him down and hands him his gun. And they end up working with Ethan. And we also had a conversation earlier that like alluded to them working with Ethan because they were on the train talking and the cute black guy was saying how if he had the AI, he would turn it into his superiors. And I thought that was the dumbest idea. That's the dumbest thing you could do. But then he was talking about how maybe Ethan has a reason for going rogue and maybe no one person should have the power of this AI. So now we have them working with him and they get on the train, Briggs and the cute black guy, and they're moving everybody, all the passengers back to the like last car to the end of the train. So now we have Ethan and Grace. We took one car off, the emergency brakes hit, the bridge blew up, and we get this great sequence of each car keep going over the cliff because the train is trying to stop, but there's already a momentum going. So each train car keep falling off the cliff, right? And Ethan and Grace is climbing through the car on the inside, just making it as each little thing keep falling. Y'all, it was so good. So then we have a scene where Ethan, and I didn't know furniture on the train be like bolted down. But Ethan is hanging with his one arm hanging down. He's holding Grace with the other hand. They both about to dang fall and die. And that's when Paris pops up. And she saves them. And I love that so freaking much. Please tell me she gonna survive and be around for part 2. Because Briggs and the cute guy end up popping up. And Grace is telling Ethan to go. Ethan ends up going. And he's able to get off the train with his little parachute thingy. And we end up having the cute black guy over with Paris like, oh, she still has a heartbeat because we thought she was dead. So we ended where she still got a heartbeat. So I'm hoping she gonna be alive and Kitcher gonna give her the choice. Because damn Grace talked to Kitchers and she ended up getting the damn choice. I can't stand Grace. I do not want to see her in the next movie. I have literally throughout the whole history of Mission Impossible, I have never just not liked a character, just been irked by a character, but I cannot stand Grace. She get on my nerve. Y'all, I cannot with her. So the movie ends where Ethan has the keys. Because remember, Gabriel had the keys, but in our ensuing fight, Ethan picked his pocket. And when Gabriel is down on when he drops the little truck, he realizes he doesn't have the key. So we have both keys. So I love that we didn't end on like a cliffhanger, like dumbass Fast and Furious. We wrapped up a conflict. We spent the runtime trying to get these keys and stop the AI, right? Stopping the AI is the overarching mission. But we were able to solve the, minor, not minor, but we were able to solve one thread of getting the keys. And then the movie ends. So you're satisfied. You got a conclusion. You know what I mean? We came to some type of resolution. We were able to get the keys. Now we just have to fight the AI, which is the overarching theme, and destroy it. Now, overall, I have to say I did enjoy this. We got some great action, great characters, story. Well, not great. Good characters and story. And I really like the narrative here. I really love adding in the whole AI situation. I just think that was just such a brilliant idea and a great progression when it comes to these movies and everything we faced and the mission tasked us in each movie to now come to this nefarious AI. I just love that so much. But I have to say, definitely on brand. They make great Mission Impossible movies. But I have to say, I was not as impressed and blown away by this movie as I thought I would be, as I wanted to be. There were a lot of sequences. I feel like the movie is too long. And I'm going to just be honest. And I'm one of those people who have no problem with a long movie. I remember back in the day when I had Scarface on VHS. That movie is so long, it was on 2 VHS tapes. But I need a movie to really utilize the runtime and for me to not feel the runtime. You shouldn't be sitting there feeling like, man, this is taking a long time. And although I didn't have that feeling overall throughout the entire movie, there were a lot of moments I was just very engulfed in it and I didn't feel the runtime. But there were far too many sequences where I was like, okay, why this taking too long? Why we keep talking about this? This conversation is dreadful. This sequence is too long. Like, I was feeling the runtime in certain moments. And also, I gotta say, the character of Grace is a big negative for me. It was so... First of all, I felt like, what is her motive? What is the end game when she just kept freaking running from Ethan? Especially when we get to the whole Elsa or Grace, one of y'all gonna die tonight. The White Widow is the person who hired you. Why do you give a F about this key outside of just doing a job and getting paid for it? So once we get to that sequence and she still is trying to swipe the key and trying to run from Ethan, for what? Like, what's the point now? What's your end game? What are you doing? It was just so, I felt like her character felt very much like the way they write teen characters. Like, that's how her character felt to me. I could not with Grace. But as always, I really love the character of Ethan. I loved his team, Benji and Luther, but although I have to say I would like some progression with those characters, love the character of Elsa, but they did her so dirty. They did not do her any justice. She didn't really have anything to do. She barely had anything to say throughout the movie. We did not give her the proper badass send-off that she was deserving of. I feel like they threw her in just to be the person that has the key, because we know that's one of the only people that's gonna just give the key to Ethan. I didn't like it. It didn't make any sense what they did with Elsa's character. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I feel like this year is giving us some top tier action movies, and I feel like I am going to give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning a 6.5 out of 10. They definitely came with it, came hard. The sequences that really, like hit home for me, I mean, they knocked it out of the park. If they could have just cut out some of the dribble, some of the drab talking about the damn entity and the probabilities and all that crap, and if we could have shortened some sequences, really tightened the runtime so that we were just hitting our points and not, veering off where it was very unnecessary, I feel like they could have really upped it for me. But just on my initial watch, I had a great movie theater experience with this. Great movie. Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt just does not miss. So I really enjoyed this, and I think a 6.5 out of 10 is a Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting the channel, guys. I appreciate it so much. Make sure you comment and let me know, how did you feel? What was your experience with Dead Reckoning? Are you a fan of this franchise overall? And make sure you check back on the channel, because I will be ranking every movie in the Mission Impossible franchise, and I can't wait to do that. That's gonna be fun, because y'all, this is literally, and you know what, maybe I might also want to eventually rank like my favorite franchises, because the Mission Impossible franchise is just so close to my heart. Like, I love this franchise. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.